Okay, so there's a headline going around right now claiming Pam Bondi turned to Trump as a prosecutor, read her most damning message out loud. And come on, when you read that, you immediately picture this dramatic courtroom scene, right? Bondi sitting there, a prosecutor reading her own private words back to her in front of everybody, and her turning desperately to Trump for some kind of help. That is exactly the cinematic moment that headline wants stuck in your head. But I gotta stop you right here, because there is no credible reporting confirming a prosecutor ever read Bondi's most damning message aloud in any courtroom. What actually happened is honestly just as wild. Maybe
You've seen the headline. A prosecutor reads Pam Bondi's most damning message out loud in court, and she turns to Trump for help. Dramatic, right? Here's the problem. That courtroom scene never happened. There's no credible reporting of it anywhere. But stick with me, because what actually happened is not a letdown. It's worse, and it's fully documented.
Alright, let's get back to the video. So here's what is actually documented. Trump apparently intended to send Bondi a private message, but instead of keeping it private, he posted it publicly on Truth Social for the entire world to see. Are you kidding me? A message meant to stay between the two of them, and instead it went straight out onto his public feed. And here's the part that really matters. That message reportedly urged prosecution of specific political figures, including Comey, Schiff, and James. Think about that for a sec.
Here's the real thing. Trump meant to send Attorney General Pam Bondi a private message. Instead, he posted it publicly on Truth Social for the entire world to read. And in it, he named exactly who he wanted prosecuted: Comey, Schiff, and Letitia James. Think about that. Not a leaked document reporters had to dig for. The president did it to himself, because these are his actual words. They're all guilty as hell. Justice must be served now. This is the President of the United States telling his Attorney General to move faster on prosecuting 3 named political opponents, meant to be private, posted in public. In his own words, no courtroom drama could match that.
Messier. According to reporting, Bondi did not take that public exposure well at all. She allegedly reacted with real anger once that message went public, and she reportedly called White House aides directly in response. Can you believe this? Her own private communication with Trump about prosecuting his political enemies just got splashed across the internet by Trump himself, and she was apparently furious about it. And here's why this connects to something even bigger than just one embarrassing posting mistake. Separately, Bondi has faced intense congressional scrutiny connected to the Epstein files. And a lot of that questioning has appeared to be aimed less at her personally and more at Trump himself, using her as the pathway to get at him. So you have got 2 separate threads tangled together here. One is this accidentally public message showing.
So how does this even happen? Truth Social, like most apps, has private messaging separate from the public feed. A wrong tab, a wrong window, and a message meant for one person goes out to millions. The kind of ordinary slip that happens to everyone. Except here, the content was a sitting president naming who his DOJ should charge. And this isn't spin from one side. The Wall Street Journal broke it. NBC confirmed it with a former administration official. Their reporting says Trump was genuinely surprised it went public. He just said, "Oh," and tried to move on. That reaction alone tells you it was never meant for us to see.
Long time. Think about how a mistake like that would even happen in the first place. Truth Social, like most social platforms, has a direct messaging function separate from the main public posting feed. Somewhere in that process, whether through a mistaken tap, confusion between windows, or some other simple error, a message meant to go through the private channel ended up posting to the public feed instead. It is exactly the kind of mundane, everyday.
Now watch Bondi's response, because it's the tell. According to the Journal, once that message went public, the Attorney General was upset enough to call the White House directly. Think about that. If this were routine, nobody blinks. The anger tells you she understood exactly how bad it looked to have that specific order sitting out in the open. And this didn't stay online. Bondi got questioned about that exact post in a Senate Judiciary hearing. So the accidental message became a formal problem, lawmakers pointing at his own words and asking her, on the record, what she was going to do about it.
Messier. According to reporting, Bondi did not take that public exposure well at all. She allegedly reacted with real anger once that message went public, and she reportedly called White House aides directly in response. Can you believe this? Her own private communication.
Here's why this isn't just gossip. Prosecution is supposed to follow the law, not a name list from the president. When the person at the top publicly hands his AG a list of political enemies to charge, that goes straight at prosecutorial independence. The whole idea that justice isn't personal, that's the real stake here.
In general, regarding specific prosecutions of named political figures. That kind of pressure touches directly on questions of prosecutorial independence. meaning whether decisions about who gets prosecuted are being made based on the law itself or based on political direction coming straight from the top. And that question, whether prosecutorial decisions are being shaped by political direction rather than pure legal judgment, sits at the very core.
This fits a pattern that was already reported before the post. Trump's frustration with Bondi, wanting her more aggressive against his opponents, wasn't a secret, so the accidental message doesn't stand alone. It's confirmation, in his own words, of pressure people had already been describing. Now the part that turns this from embarrassing to serious. He posts the message on the 20th. Within about 5 days, Comey is indicted. Days after that, Letitia James is indicted. 2 of the 3 people he named, charged. You don't have to claim a straight line to notice the sequence, and viewers will.
And here's why this all connects back to a much bigger, well-documented pattern. Separately, Trump's own dissatisfaction with Bondi has been widely reported too, with aides describing that he wanted her to be more aggressive, specifically.
To be fair, both sides read this differently. Critics see direct proof of political interference. Defenders say a president is allowed to voice an opinion and point to Bondi's pushback as proof the guardrails held. Same facts, opposite conclusions. That's exactly why this keeps generating headlines.
A completely different conclusion. Critics look at the message itself and see direct proof of political interference in prosecutorial decisions. Defenders look at Bondi's angry reaction and see evidence that appropriate boundaries were actually being maintained even under pressure. Both interpretations are working from the exact same documented facts, the message and her reaction to it, but they arrive at completely lines.
So what's next? Don't wait for a courtroom scene. That's not how this plays out. Expect this post to keep showing up in hearings, because now lawmakers have a concrete, undeniable example in his own words, and keep an eye out for any other private messages surfacing. That's the kind of thing that moves this story further than any single hearing can. So here's where we land. The courtroom headline is fake, but the real story is bigger. The president accidentally published a direct order to his attorney general to prosecute 3 named opponents. She was furious. It landed in a Senate hearing, and within weeks 2 of those 3 were indicted. That's not a rumor. That's the record. The question that's left is the one that matters most. When the person at the top can name who gets charged, how independent is the Justice Department really? Tell me what you think in the comments, and subscribe, because there's more coming on exactly how much pressure Bondi has been under from the inside.